Alright, hello everybody. We're at the Quality Inn, Enola location in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Right across the street from downtown Harrisburg. Or the river, I should say. As you can see, it's a beautiful snowy day out here. We're at one of the side entrances of this hotel. And as you can see, it's got a pretty friendly little entrance over there. But look at this. This is the door right here. If you think that I didn't have to use my key card to get in there, you are absolutely right. There are three entrances other than the front entrances, the one on the other side of the hotel and in the back. None of them have access control to get in, so anybody can just walk in. I'm not sure if they lock it at night. I can imagine that they probably don't, especially considering the fact that this says please use front entrance and exit only. So who knows? Certainly a security risk. They have cameras, but you know, how do you prevent people from walking in with just cameras? All right, let's take a look at the room. And don't get me wrong, cameras are great, but that just looks like really tacky. It's always kind of dingy too. Smells of drugs. Alright, here we are at room number 124. Our Quality Inn key. A fairly new looking Kaba automatic door lock. So starting off at the front, we have, of course, the Mortise Kaba lock with built-in deadbolt and a latch lock, as well as a fire map that is pretty old because it actually says game room, although there obviously is no games. They're just vending machines and really old laundry machines. And then, of course, here's the Pennsylvania thing about how they're not liable for anything, and also something about fraud and all that. What you probably can't tell is that this is actually like a simulated wood. I mean, it's made of metal, but like it actually has a simulated wood design. So yeah, if that probably helps date the place. Starting off at the front, we have easily accessible light switch. I hate it when hotels don't have light switches at the front of the room, but as you can see, when it's off versus when it's on, it's not really that much brighter. It is lighted though, which is pretty nice. There is no light at the top, and we're about to pan down. You can see the whole room right here. My mother and I are here staying. My mother's at an expo convention, and this actually wasn't the hotel we were going to stay at. I'll go ahead and explain that really fast. My mother and I were going to stay at another hotel on the other side of town. I think it was the Clarion. It's another Choice hotel. I may be wrong when I say it's at the Clarion, but anyways, it actually is a pretty cool property. It was probably from the 60s or 70s. One of those kind of Holiday Inn resort-looking hotels. I mean, it's just a regular hotel rooms, but like it had the two-story atrium with a pool in the middle. There was one like that in Fredericksburg until they actually demolished it within the past couple of years. So I was actually kind of looking forward to staying there because I do kind of have a knack for old story buildings and hotels. Of course, as long as they're decent, because you know how some of these older places you really want to watch out for. But we get there and it's absolutely the traveler's worst nightmare because we get there and they have no idea we had a room. My mother actually had a reservation. We actually said the room number we were going to get, which is 101. Of course, whether we would be getting 101 or not is anybody's guess, but we actually had a reservation. And we got there and she looks at my mother's name in the system and says that it's been canceled, but we never canceled that reservation. So I have a feeling that they canceled because the whole hotel was booked for a private event. So I would imagine what they did was they probably canceled our reservation and may have sent an email, but my mother didn't actually get any email, just so they can fulfill that private event, which I think is just, it's a horrible thing to do, and to anybody. I mean that's just it's just a terrible thing to have to go through. And not only that, but there were really no other hotels in the area. I mean, this one had 2 rooms left. So yeah, but I digress. Starting off at the front, we have one of these older style open closets, just pretty expected for this type of hotel. fairly decent amount of these non-stealable hangers, and none of them have actually been stolen either. So that's pretty good. 2 of them are designed to hold pants, it looks like. We have an ironing board. Down here is a really old safe. It was barely wide enough to fit my laptop, but it did, fortunately. It has this really old key. Well, not actually. It's got a. Looks like it's been fairly recently replaced, but it's got the key there. So many hotels I go to with these old safes with the actual key don't have the keys, but this one actually does. So good for them. So there's that, and here's the bathroom. Let's go ahead and start off here. Oh, by the way, as you can tell, this entrance, just in general, is very, very dark. The camera's doing a wonderful job picking it up, but it's just really dark. So going in here to the bathroom, it's very bright as compared to the rest of the room. As you can see, it's kind of small, but at the same time, it does just a perfect job. My mother and I are both certainly able to get along with it. What I've noticed though is this door is just incredibly thick. I mean, it's so heavy. When you're pushing it, it is really if you want to, I would probably dent the bathtub really bad if I, slammed the door all the way over. Although it does have a door stop. As old as that may be, it doesn't seem to be doing a superior job. But yeah, I mean, it'd probably take a bullet. Anyways, so there's the door. We have this wonky little switch right here, which is also lighted, which is pretty nice, but as you can see, it's also falling apart. GFCI outlet both work. The outlet here and this one both test and reset just fine. With this really old little hand dryer on the wall, it does work. It does kind of smell like people's hair, and it is a little rusty in there, but it does, like I said, just works just fine. Kleenex box. The sink works. It's a little slow. That drain looks broken, but it's actually not. It works just fine. They actually had the counter go all the way over the toilet in this funky shape. I'm not sure why they did it like that. Probably to ease getting the toilet in and out if they need to, which also seems to be on the wonk. I don't know if you can tell. I mean, the camera's straight. It's just a little bit wonky. It's this really old Gerber toilet. It's pretty slow, but it does just fine. Every old hotel seems to have these. Mirror goes all the way across. It is kind of awkward watching yourself, doing your business in front of a mirror, I must tell you. These are the linens. They provide a lot of linens. And actually, they're fairly decent. They're very soft. There's plenty of them, like I said. I think these are hand towels. These 3 are hand towels. These are full towels. Same with right here. And then there's several washcloths. And then there's a floor mat right there. Here's the bathtub. Everything works just fine. That drain plug actually does go in there, so you can take a bath if you want it. The shower's got quite a bit of pressure. You put it on this mode. Even in the regular the regular setting, it seems to do just fine, which is good. It looks like they put the shower curtain inside out, though. It doesn't really make a difference. I should mention that this is our second day of our 3-day stay. And today's a Saturday, and when my mother and I went to go for breakfast, we came back, and there were, I kid you not, 2 maids working in here cleaning this place up. They had somebody on the floor actually cleaning, scrubbing the floor, and then they completely restocked, and it didn't look like this. It actually looks really nice. I mean, they really cleaned this place. So coming out to the room, as you can see, like I said, it still is kind of dingy out here too, with all 3 of the lights turned on. They actually completely made both beds up. Mine isn't made up. I just kind of threw it back together because I was laying down in it earlier. Both of the pictures above the beds are the same. Here's a fairly decent sized mini fridge, actually. I would have liked to see them put a microwave in here, but I'm sure if you want to use a microwave, you can use the one that's in the Continental breakfast bar. We just went to Walmart and got several drinks. My mom wanted some flavored waters and stuff, so we have those in there. There's also coffee, in-room coffee. The pot is actually fairly clean, I have to tell you. I mean, you can see, it is almost completely spotless. I am very impressed. I'm not a big fan of in-room coffee. I mean, and if they use this exact coffee in the as they do in the continental breakfast, it was actually not that great coffee. But life goes on, and you have 2 teas, so not only 1 coffee. And they do give you these foam cups for the coffee. They're not individually wrapped, so it's anybody's guess how clean they are. I would imagine they're fine, but just always be safe. Better be safe than sorry. And then we have some individually wrapped cups so you can use. And there's also an ice bucket with a plastic bag, and a top that it just fell down. Here's the lamp for this side of the room, plugged into the outlet over there. It's controlled by that switch. Here's the TV. Something they advertise on the sign outside is new 40-inch TVs, and I must say, this actually looks pretty decent. I mean, it really does make the room look a lot more modern. It's got DirecTV hookup. It's actually very clear, HD, which is nice. There is some. I would imagine this is a surge suppressor, because I don't really know why you would only have one of these for 2 outlets. If nothing else, it gives the extra outlets, I suppose. And this, I really don't know what's going on here. It looks like I could probably unplug somebody else's TV, since that's a splitter right there. I'm not going to do that because I'm not a mean person. Looking at here's the beds right here. They're not the most comfortable beds in the world. I mean, they're very, very soft, and I like firm mattresses, so it's not the best, but I mean, it's certainly not bad. They're not lumpy at all. And they actually look fairly new as well. I mean, maybe nothing more than maybe a year or 2 old. I don't see any evidence of bed bugs, which is very important, because a not very nice hotel I stayed at in Roanoke, I got bit up on my leg, and bed bug bites are very itchy. This box spring looks like it's fairly old. It looks like it says quality sleeper. I have no idea if that's tied to Quality Inn or not. And the actual thing that holds the bed up is actually simulated wood. Like, it's got simulated wood. I'm sure you can see that. So that probably helps date that a little bit. It's got one of these non-washable things on the top. I just threw it on the bed, the floor last night, and they put it back on. So that's usually what I like to do. It's not even like attached to it or anything. I don't know why they put these on here. It's got some sort of a down comforter on it. It's kind of rough. I guess they're all like that though. Of course, a sheet. I haven't seen actually any evidence of anybody else's hair. I actually stayed here a long time ago with my father. We were having a family reunion with some distant relatives that actually live in Enola, but there was no room for my father and I to sleep, so we actually had to get this hotel, and there was hair everywhere in the bed. But now I don't actually notice any hair. I did take the liberty as taking the one of the pillowcases off. It's kind of weird shaped, like they're not full pillows, but they're not square either. They're actually Choice Hotel branded pillows. Pretty nice. They're not lumpy at all. Well, the hotel pillows in general just never seem to be very that comfortable. And there's actually like a case protector and everything on it. So yeah, it's actually pretty nice right there. Here's the nightstand in the middle. We have a fairly scummy looking phone. As you can see, it's very well used. There's the address and everything. What's kind of confusing is there's actually Quality in Riverview, which is this one. Then there's also Quality in Riverside on the other side of the Susquehanna River. So when I knew Quality in River, and I put it in, and it actually took me to the one on the other side of the river. I'm glad I saw. Of course I saw that, but it's just like that's a little confusing. In here, some of my mom's stuff. You can ignore that. There's a Bible, and there's a Harrisburg phone book, and some sort of a commitment to satisfaction. I've certainly had no complaints about this hotel as of yet late, except for the doors on the sides and back not being locked. Right here is something very nice, especially to see in an older hotel like this, because outlets are very few and far between. Is one of these like little things where you have outlets and actual USB ports. There's 4 of them. What's a little less nice though is that these outlets are very, very worn out, and I do warn you, if you just do suffer from epilepsy or similar disease, you probably want to skip over this, because I'm about to demonstrate to you why these outlets don't really work that well. So you see this is the plug for the lamp, and it doesn't really look that great that's plugged into this anyways, because this should be reserved all for your stuff. Although, like I said, you know, there's really not that many outlets. So let's plug into this outlet right here. As you can see, these outlets are incredibly worn out. Like, they're not as bad as, like, they're not all that bad, but, I mean, like, you could just, I mean, there's just no give on any of these. This one's not as bad. It's probably the best out of the three of them, probably because the lamp's always been plugged into it. But yeah, so it's just, and this lamp actually works fairly well in it. Like, I had several cell phone chargers that wouldn't even work in any of these. These work fairly fine. It's not like these aren't working, but I do like to use my own cell phone charger. It's a fairly decent, very big display alarm clock, which I do like. The radio doesn't actually seem to work on it, but what I don't really like is like this alarm. You press it once and the alarm turns on, press it once, the alarm turns off. That's where a snooze button is. So like, let's say I'm half asleep and I slam on this to try and snooze it, or from now, try to slam on to snooze it, I just turn the alarm off, and I'll probably be pretty pissed and want to throw that at the wall if I oversleep, especially for something important. Over here is what I've been using as a desk, although I wouldn't really consider it a desk. It's just kind of like a little table. I took the liberty of doing a speed test. As you can see, you're only getting about 10 megabits, although I have a feeling that they're throttling you. I don't think they're actually only getting a 10 megabit line, especially for somebody like Verizon Enterprise Solutions. I do actually have my laptop plugged in through Ethernet, although I've done a speed test on my phone and there is no different speeds. Oops. This chair is kind of like wobbly though. I don't know if you can see that. Not bad. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. This Ethernet port is kind of wonky though. I mean, I don't know why it's like going at such an angle. I mean, they could have just made the... I really don't know. This is like, it looks like it's like pushed in, but it's actually supposed to be like that, I think. This was probably installed a long time ago. Obviously it's not original hotel. I mean, this just looks kind of goofy that it's like completely crooked like that. As you can see, if you look in the bottom, they didn't even, they had to like drill a specific hole for the Ethernet cable. There's actually two cables running in there. I wonder what that's for. Yeah, because like it's just completely wonky. At least they put the box flat though, because otherwise the whole thing would just look weird. Here's the P-tac unit. It's been replaced. It's not original. The fitness center actually has what appears to be an original P-tac unit. It does an okay job. Doesn't really get that hot though, so I usually just kind of keep it on all the time. Filters are actually fairly clean, so it's not like you're going to be breathing in a bunch of funk. That one doesn't like to go in all the way sometimes. What I have noticed though is there's like holes, like from the outside. Like, can you see that light right there? Yeah. Now we can look out the window. It's actually not that bad of a view, and it's actually cleared up. Actually, let me do justice and turn this off. Maybe. There we go. As you can see, there is a Susquehanna River, and there's a Quality Inn sign. But do you hear that squeaking? Between the Susquehanna River and this, other than US 15 and 11, is the Enola Norfolk Southern Terminal. And while I haven't heard any train horns, that squeaking can be kind of annoying. And and this like the holes through here don't really help. I mean, with the fan on, you don't really hear it, but I mean, it still is kind of annoying. Like, you can definitely hear it. You can actually kind of see downtown Harrisburg right there. Yep, there it is. Well, they can't help to see it because there's this big like mildew mess on the window. That's been here ever since we got here, so I can't imagine it's just gonna go away. I do like though is this window does open, and it's actually very breezy. Every time I've opened this window, a ton of air is just poured in. I guess that's a nice thing about being right next to the river, which is very big here. So you can get some fresh air from that. Let me turn this back on just because the sound is really, the no sound is just kind of awkward. There are shears you definitely need to hear because, like I said, it's very dark. Yeah, I guess that's just about it. There's really nothing else to talk about. There's another chair that I'm just using to hold up my suitcase. I did have to string my power cable for my laptop down under there to that, because there is no outlet under there. Yeah. Alright everybody, I was editing this video and I realized that at the end I didn't really want to shrink the video down, so I guess I'm going to add this at the end. So if you want to watch another video of mine, press there. There's another video, it's going to be there. And who knows, actually there'll be even be a subscriber thing right here, so if you want to subscribe and you haven't, you probably want to go over there. At least you would, unless YouTube decides that they don't want to have the end card thing anymore. That would be incredibly annoying, but that's one of those things I'm sure YouTube would absolutely do. But you didn't come here to hear me rant. So thank you very much for watching, and that'll be it.